Okay, something new has arrived on the scene and we're going to give it a whirl. There's a new board out for these trucks. This is the board right here. I just got it. Now, while I'm back here, all right, the whole package was speaker, board, transmitter, $40. Plus shipping, but if it's over 75 at Imex, it's free shipping. So there's the board. Now, there's a couple really cool things about this board. First, it's got a sound module built in, hence the speaker. Second, it's also got a provision on it for the 2-speed gearbox, which we have right here. And this is a servo-operated 2-speed gearbox. The servo mounts right here, and this cam operates the lever to shift the transmission. It's a straight up swap. The board is a straight swap into the stock trucks. I'll swap this right in. It is all set. You know, the 3D printed trucks are great, but once you get it printed and put together, then you have to figure out your drivetrain, and to stay in scale with the actual vehicle, it's not going to match what WPL and JJRC have done. So there's a lot of engineering and a lot of work involved there. So that's a real advantage here because I can use the whole stock truck system. All I've done on this one is just swap the tires, and I put in the steering servo, but a lot of the trucks that are coming now, they're coming with the steering servo. I just got the 1/10 scale Jeep, and that comes with a steering servo, and it's really good for proportionality on the throttle. There's not a lot of stuff left to do to it. I don't have to swap it over and put in an ESC and all that stuff. So there can be a lot of advantages to going this way with this board. And the board itself is pretty cool. The first thing I did was print out the diagram for the board, okay? And by looking at that, you can see pretty much what it can do. One of the first main features you got is that each transmitter will run 2 different trucks, and you can switch back and forth between the trucks. Now, I'm not sure yet how that's going to work, if it's going to be like a true model matching where I can leave one truck running and switch over to the other truck and drive it for a little while and switch back, or if I got to kill the power or what. We'll figure all that out as we go along. And so eventually, they're not yet, but in the next shipment, Imex is going to have available just the second board. Right now, you have to buy the whole package, the board, the transmitter, and the speaker. But as soon as they get their next shipment, they'll have the second board you can get, and that's why you have the jumper on there. As I can see the jumper right there. I don't know if I can get this close enough for you guys to see it or not. I got to get better light in here. Anyway, the jumper is on there right next to it's set for car number 1. There's 3 pins, and the jumper only goes on 2, and it's on the 2 pins closest to the servo output. And the servo output has got your steering servo goes here, and your 2-speed gearbox servo goes here. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with the center one yet, and it doesn't really say on the diagram, so that might be something that's yet to come. Okay, so anyway, it's set for car 1, and if I got a second board, I would set that for car 2, and then my transmitter knows the difference between the 2 boards. So it's got a bunch of other stuff now. Horn, that got my hopes up for a second there. I've always thought RC trucks that can beep their horn were really, really cool, but that's not it. Horn is, you gotta remember this stuff is made in in China, so it's also printed in Chinese, and that should say speaker, okay? We've been calling it Chinglish, the kind of merging of the 2 languages, not said in a derogatory manner. It's all in good spirits. But anyway, horn is Chinglish for speaker. Now, you've got left turn signal, and there's no provision on the transmitter to make it blink. But I've been told that what happens is when you turn the wheel to a certain degree, that light will illuminate. So that's yet to be discovered. Right turn signal. Backlight, I believe, is just the tail light, because this truck stock doesn't come with tail lights. We're going to add them. It comes stock with headlights, which we swap out for the warm whites, but they've got their own plug right there. Then all the rest is pretty much plug and play. In fact, if you're not going to put in taillights or turn signals, it's pretty much a straight plug and play swap for the stock board. You unplug the motor, it plugs in right here. You unplug the on-off switch that comes with the truck, which there's not one in here right now, but it mounts in the front there, and that plugs in. Your battery plugs in. Now there's a change. This isn't going to use the stock truck battery. They say that they want a 2-cell or 3-cell battery. Okay, and I thought I saw, no, I didn't. I guess the board can sense whether you're using 2-cell or 3-cell, because I don't see any provision for switching back and forth. I'm going to go with the small 2-cell lipos that I use in all the rest of the trucks. Wish I had one handy enough to show it to you right now, but if you've been watching, you know what they look like. Oh, here we go. Here's one right here. These, I'm going to use this battery. I could use a larger one now if I wanted to, but that's a small 2-cell and it'll work just perfect. So your power plugs in right there. It's marked clearly for positive and negative. It also tells you where your steering servos go. Now that's interesting, the way they've got this marked. Well, they give you the markings here that I would say positive is definitely in the middle. I believe negative is on the top, and they can't be switched like that the way they've got it marked positive and negative. I'll have to figure that out. But anyway, the servo outlets are there. And then on the transmitter, it's got a page of its own. And that shows you what the transmitter does, okay? And it's pretty simple. It's got a switch on the side right here. This will be for the servo operated transmission. All right, and then it's got a couple buttons on the top that you can use in combination with each other for different things. Now this says short press volume, so I'm assuming the volume is adjustable, and that will be very cool. And if you give it the long press, it turns your lights on and off, and that will also be very cool. Now, I'm not sure if that'll turn the taillights off too. It just says long press headlamp. Much to be discovered on these boards. It's going to be quite a journey. Here, you give a long press of 5 seconds. It switches back and forth from truck to truck on the 2-truck system. All right. Now, this one says short press shift, long press double flash. Not sure what the double flash is. That might be turn signal. More to be discovered. It's got the switch on the side for they call it the external device. That's obviously the servo shift. And the rest is standard trigger and steering. But the transmitter is still just a little bit toy-like. It's not... I've come to like the full-size hobby-grade transmitters. This one's a Spectrum, but I like the Fly Skies too. But it's still not bad. You know, it's pretty lightweight. It only takes 2 AA batteries to run it, and it'll do what it needs to do. It's got steering trim on it. It says on there vehicle switching, shift gears, speaker, and light. So you don't have to run around with the cheat sheet until you get it memorized, but I'll probably have to do that anyway. So everything's going to be a straight swap. We're going to put in the 2-speed gearbox. We're going to put in the new board. We're going to check out the speaker and find a place to mount that. It's going to solve a lot of problems I was having. I was trying to figure out how to get the sound system into the tank. I was going to use one of the sound modules that I've been using on the trucks lately, and they've got a rather large speaker, and the module box itself is not exactly small. This is the system I was going to try and use. Okay, now that's quite a bit of stuff to be stuffing in that truck. Plus on this one, to change the sound and to change the volume, you got to have access to the side of the unit. So I wasn't sure how I was going to do that, if I'd be able to get it to sit underneath a hatch so that I could do it like that. And then how well is the sound going to transfer through the tank? Now we're going to check out this little speaker. I'll probably mount it on the underside of the cab. It's a very small unit, so there you go. That might be the perfect spot right there. I might be able to just tack it right there underneath the seats, and that, you know, maybe off to one side so it points better at the ground through the gaps. We'll check it out. More to be discovered. But this is going to be quite a little adventure, and it's still going to be a couple weeks before the Schwimmwagen kit gets here, so that's what we're going to be doing in between. Oh yeah, one more thing. When we swap out the gearbox, we're also going to go to the metal drive shafts, because the gears already have metal drive shafts on the differentials, so, and it's already metal up here, so we'll have a complete metal to metal connection instead of having a weak plastic drive shaft in between. And that's another thing that's great, is that the whole rear system is all in place. I don't have to change anything with that. I know these are metal gears in here, so everything's good to go on the drive. Now we'll be able to see for real how much traction these 3D printed tires will get. I don't hold my hopes up because they're not super flexible and they're very narrow, but we'll see what happens. So that's the plan with the tanker truck. Sorry this got so long. We're putting in the new board, the speaker, putting it on the new controller, got a sound system, it's a 2-speed transmission. We're getting ready to start putting stuff together. When that happens, we will see you next time.